Hello, this is Jill Slinker, the Director of Student Programs for the Indiana Association of School Principals. I'm here with Mary Ann Rutledge, who will explain Global Issues Problem Solving Step 5.
We're going to be using that criteria we wrote in Step 4 to find the best solution. The good news is Step 5 is on the same page as Step 4. It's at the bottom of page 10. The criteria is at the top. So that criteria is visible as the selection of ranking is done. It's very convenient. We're only going to need 8 solutions for evaluation on this step. Each team member should choose 2 or 3 solutions from one of the Step 3 pages to suggest, and then the team will agree on what 8 will be used. The next thing to do is to prepare the grid at the bottom. It has different columns, and some of the students have struggled with what to put in a column. We're going to show you in an example at the end, but I'll go through what to do at this point. Take the number of the Step 3 solution that you want to use first and put it in the far left box, the far left column. This tells the evaluator an easy reference if they want to read that whole solution and get that idea in mind before they look at the rankings. So they're going to do that. You want to put a few key words about that solution idea in the second column, sort of like what you did on the little strip of paper when you were brainstorming, just a few words about it. And then you will be repeating that process with the next step, with the next 7 solutions. If possible, I would recommend that they start with page 1 of the solutions and use the numbers off of that page in order, then go to the second page of solutions and use them in order, and third and fourth. And the reason is it helps the evaluator, and they love it when you've given them that help. Okay, to use the grid, we have 8 solutions. So the solution that is the most effective is going to get 8. The solution that is the least effective for each of the criteria will get a 1. The students can only use the numbers 1 through 8 once in vertical column 1. They can't have 2 7s or 3 4s. It's 1 each. So first of all, the criterion should be read out loud, and then as a team, they should determine which of those solutions is the most effective. Once they have decided, they will put an 8 in the vertical column next to that solution. Then they'll say which would be the next most effective. That will get a 7 in the vertical column. They will continue doing this for 6, 5, 4, and so on. The least effective solution for that criterion will get a 1. Over the years, some teams have found a way they think is easier, and I'm going to share that with you. They start out still by looking for the most effective solution idea, and they give it an 8. And then they look for the least effective, and they give it a 1. Sometimes those pop out and they are agreed upon immediately. Then they say, okay, let's go back and find our next most effective. That's going to be a 7. And we'll find the least effective, which would be, the next one would be the 2. And they continue going back and forth, 7 and 2, 6 and 3, 5 and 4. And that way they believe it's easier to get the ranking done. After you've done that for your first criterion, you're going to do the same thing with the second criterion. It's going to go in column 2. Read it out loud, have the teams decide which one is the most effective down to the least effective, put the number in the vertical column under 2. You will do the same thing for the third criterion and the fourth and the fifth. If there aren't 8 solutions that the team came up with, and that might happen when they get to the state bowl, the qualifier, and then also at internationals. They will use whatever they have. If they only found 7 solutions, the best gets a 7. Use 7 through 1. Hopefully they do have more than 8, but I just wanted to point that out. I've had it happen where there were not 8. After all of the criteria have been evaluated and ranked, then you're going to do adding. And I want to stress, make sure the addition is correct, because you get points based on adding as well. So you add across the grid horizontally to total the ranks given to the solution on the top line. You'll do the same for the one on the second line, the third line, and so forth. At the end, you're going to place a star next to the solution with the highest total rank. That means you and your evaluator know which was your best solution. This solution has to be the one you write about in step 6. I know a lot of teams want to have the solution they want to write about come out the winner. I'm not going to tell you that that doesn't happen. It does. But what I want to caution you about is totally manipulating the grid. There have been teams who have put it, they found their best solution for criteria 1, they put 8 all the way across. And they found their least effective one, they gave it a 1, and they put 1s all the way across. Well, obviously, number 8 is going to win, but that is not impressing your evaluators. Sometimes there's a tie, and you can't have a tie. You must write about your highest ranking solution. So the procedure that we use to break a tie is to choose the criterion that is the most important. Usually that is number 1, your KVP. That's what you're trying to do in the first place. If you choose criterion 1, you draw a circle around the number 1, and above that circle you write 2 times 2x. And now you will go through and redo those ranks. It will be 16, 14, 12, 10, and so on. You will re-add the total for each solution, and you will find that you have broken the tie, and you now have one with the highest score. This reminds me that I should be telling you that students should be using pencil on their booklets, because erasing and not being able to make it neat and clean and easy to read can be a problem.
When you do send it to the evaluator, though, make sure that whatever you scan, the pencil is heavy enough. Because if our evaluators can't read what has been scanned and sent to us, they really can't do a whole lot on the evaluation. So we have students who want to write lightly with pencil, but make sure that it is heavy and readable.
Yes.
On the scan. Check the scan before you send it.
All right, the scoring then for step 5. Next slide. Thank you. You want to double check all of the addition, and if it is correct, all the numbers in the last column should total 180. Now that will not be true if you've doubled number 1, but it will be if you didn't have a tie. And usually you don't have a tie. I just wanted to explain what to do in case that happened. All right, a grid that has no errors is going to score 5 points. A grid that has 1 error is going to get 4. A grid with 2 errors is going to get 3. If there are 3 or more errors, it's going to be a 1 or a 2. If you do not use the top solution in step 6, it is a 1. So you want to be sure that you are using the top solution. I want you to know the evaluator is not going to determine if they like the ranking that was used in step 5. It is the team's decision. They are simply going to look to see if they use the grid correctly. And then on our last slide, I didn't write out the description. I simply gave the numbers. You'll notice they go in order by pages. Number 2 and 4 were on the first page, 7 and 8 the second page. I went through the pages. You would put keywords under the solution idea, the numbers in the columns all the numbers under 1 should go with criterion 1. And then you add across, you'll see it, the 36 points for solution 4 got a star by it. And the addition at the bottom was 180.
So the 36 point, so question step 4, solution 4
Yes,
was the one that should be chosen to write the action plan.
that's right. It has to be number 4 for this particular example.
Okay, well, let's talk about writing the action plan in the next video.
Okay.